Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Evolutions are evolving as EA out of nowhere yesterday dropped a completely new twist on our favorite card customization feature. We're going to cover everything today about the brand new training camp evos because it's something new to wrap our minds around, of course, but also I really want to discuss why I think EA really dropped that new Evo feature and why it's only on the companion app and the web app. But we also want to discuss the content from Fantasy FC Team number 2 because we had some crazy SBCs yesterday, little expensive, but they might actually end up being good value. We'll talk about that and the Icon SBC that's coming today, of course, with a lot of price movement specifically on the Fantasy Team 1 and 2 cards as there's games being played this weekend, and that means upgrades are on the line. If you're excited for the video, drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Let's cover yesterday's Friday content because, of course, it's a promo Friday. There's a lot going on. Let's go to objectives first, where the biggest thing in here is actually that big 90 plus times 4 pack. But we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention the crazy Granada CF home kit. I'm just kidding. What in the world? Really random from EA to drop a kit objective here. But we do have the Feller card and objectives here as well for Naomi Feller, Women's Madrid team. Decent evolution objective card here. You only have to complete 5 of the 6 objectives in here. Once again, there's 6. All you have to do is complete 5, so that's pretty easy for that card there. Decent stuff. Other than that, in objectives yesterday, there wasn't a whole lot. This is the big part of objectives everybody's talking about. The Season 5 weekly play completionist, which I'm a week behind, of course, but if you got the 5th week done starting yesterday, it was available to be completed. You, of course, got the group reward, which is a 90 plus times 4. And these packs are pretty crazy. Man, these Season 4 weekly play was good. Season 5 weekly play has been pretty good. Level 40 player picks for the Icon picks have been pretty good too. Not every single one is a W, but when you see these sorts of packs, like, there's just a lot of good players that can be in this. Again, I don't think all these are that great, but you see the good ones here on Twitter. You see people posting about them, and there are some bangers. That one I would say is a little bit lower than normal, but a lot of the cards that you're seeing packed here are at least 1 or 2 of them is over 500,000 coins for a lot of people opening these packs. I mean, that one's pretty stinky with Joe Cole, Caicedo, Fowler, and Keane. But it's nice that it does... Whoa, wow. Look at those 2 new center backs that he just got, Stam and Lenny Yoro. I think it's decent. I mean, everybody gets one if you complete the objectives. Of course, you've been working towards this for a couple of weeks. So that's obviously something to look forward to. I'll have mine next week once I get that one done. But make sure you take a look at that objective there to get it done, because that's the most hyped thing in objectives right now. Let's talk about SBCs, where we had 2 player SBCs yesterday that are actually turning some heads in terms of maybe they're a little bit expensive, but they're big names and there's upgrades on the line. Firstly, we had Rafinha. We did not have a hero SBC yesterday like we had Guti during Team 1, but this World Tour Rafinha for 7 squads, I don't know, man. I mean, it's 590,000 coins in this card. He's got 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, Tiki Taka, and Rapid Plus. When I look at this card, I'm not that excited personally. He does have Trickster, which is good too. Finesse, Power Shot, great play styles, and it's Rafinha. He's always good. Of course, his Trailblazer card earlier in the year was a very, very popular card. I think that's one of the reasons why he has some hype. It's just a big name card. Of course, Barca links, men's and women's team, a lot of options there. He can play on the right side. He can play on the left side. He's got good rolls. I think that's why he has hype. Now, personally, this card doesn't really go into my team, doesn't interest me, right? I'm sure a lot of us have right or left wings that are as good as this card, or maybe even better, but he's not that expensive. And since a lot of us have a lot of fodder right now, since the other SBCs haven't been that crazy, I think a lot of people are finding interest in this because it's only 593,000 coins. You see the upvote to downvote ratio there. I'm personally not going to be completing him, but he's also out for 27 days. Maybe there's a chance in the next 27 days that 90 rated cards could fit evolutions. Something to put in the back of the mind there. So not a bad one. Colomani SBC, on the other hand, 839,000 coins, more expensive, but he's 4-star, 5-star. He's got the quick step and he's got the first touch. And right away, when I saw this SBC today, I was like, man, that's a really pricey card. But I was kind of reminded of last year in Fantasy FC when we had an SBC by the name of Timo Werner. When he dropped, this is not what he looked like. This was the upgraded version of Timo Werner, right after he got the +3 overall. Now, the upgrades are a bit different this year. They can only get a +2, but we have the 99 stat that's out there. This Timo Werner SBC last year was 593,000 coins for 95 pace, less shooting than Colomani, the same passing, less dribbling, but a little bit more physical. And I would argue a Power Shot Plus was good last year, but Quick Step Plus and Colomani having finesse, Power Shot, technical, regular, and Trivela, this card, I'm going to wait on it. I'm going to wait on this one because, of course, he's a 4-star, 5-star. If Juve start cooking, if he scores, if they win 2 of the next 4, by the time we get 2 or 3 weeks down the line, this SBC is available until middle to end of March, by the way. This could end up being an SBC that is worth completing because since he's 4-star, 5-star, if he were to get that 5-star skill move boost, which would mean he doesn't get a yellow or a red card in the next 4 games for a striker, you would think that would be decently easy. He would go to 5-star, 5-star. You get a +1 at least, maybe a +2 on top of this, and then some other playstyles added. This could be a pretty good card. Hopefully he gets Rapid added to his card when that comes around for the upgrade. So this is not one that I'm like chomping at the bit to go ahead and do, but it's out for 20 days. Watch the live status of this card and at least give it some potential thought. In my opinion, I'm going to do that because the potential here with these fantasy cards, and that's one thing I have to remember when I look at a lot of these fantasy SBCs, is it's not about the card now, it's also about the card with the upgrade. So I still love Guti, gonna get that one done, but I think that Colomani, I just have to at least remember it because it's about the upgrades, right? And that's why the cards are kind of expensive too when they come out as SBCs in this promo. Now, one last SBC from yesterday that we have to mention was Player of the Month, Sunset, because this is a must complete, guys. This is an 84 rated squad for an 88 rated player. Just throw in your junk 84s, get yourself an 88 rated fodder card at the very least. He actually goes into the Evo that was dropped yesterday. I know that he's got the fantasy card that is out right now, but this is literally the cheapest 88 rated card in the game because all other 88s right now were 16 to 17,000 coins, and that SBC is like 14K if you were to buy the cards, but it's basically free. So make sure you get that one done. The 84 times 5 is nice. People were having some pretty good pack pulls from this, packing promo team players yesterday in it, so make sure you get those done every single day. 81 double, I think is decent as well. It just requires 8 golds, 1 rare, so a great place as well to rinse common golds if you still have some of those hanging around your club. The 87 plus campaign pick refreshed yesterday too, so another place to put in some of your lower tier fodder from maybe some saved up packs that you had or the 84 times 5s that you were opening. So a decent day in SBCs. Nothing super crazy. Let's take a look at the team in packs before we talk about evolutions. Guys, this promo team is different than Team 1 in the fact that there's a lot more supply on the market. From what I'm seeing from these players, the prices dropped heavy yesterday from where they started. Darwin Nunez for the first hour was 1 million coins. He went to 800K really quick, and now he's 535,000 coins, way down from where he was. Rodrigo's 5 mil, Rashford 6.8. Those are the top 2 cards in the team, but a Pavard card like this, sure, he's 522,000 coins. That's a pretty nice boost. And I mean, 522K for this, I don't think that's that bad. With all the play styles that he has, he can play center back and right back. Now, again, with all these cards, it's about the games, and they've got a massive game today. Inter versus Napoli. This is huge for this Pavard card, for the Billing card, and some of the other Serie A cards that are trending towards upgrades. I just think this team, it's got better middle tier cards. The Matisse Tell card, man, I know I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm maybe slightly biased, but I tried this card out yesterday, and he was phenomenal. Those stats for 200,000 coins is nuts. Compare him to Colomani right now. They're not that far off of each other. Colomani's 800K, this card's 225. Make sure you give him a shot too. Now, again, it's all about the live and upgrading aspects for these. I do think these prices are still going to continue to fluctuate. They do seem a bit more supplied to me, which worries me some. And I'm going to be trading with them because I love the risky flip trades with these brand new promo cards. But the safest bet would be to probably wait to see their prices drop off later today on Saturday. Even if the club does well, if there's a game today, I bet you would see some prices drop off because you have weekend league supply. It's still going to be out there. And Saturdays are normally days where you see the cards drop off. Now, if somebody goes crazy today, like if Inter win and they keep a clean sheet against Napoli, this Pavard is probably going to go up. But, that would be kind of the outlier situation that most likely wouldn't happen, but could. that could make his price continue to go up. So I'm going to be staying away from investing in Fantasy Team 2 for right now, but I like the strikers here with Gomez and Keane. Tim Howard as a prem keeper looks pretty decent. This Pharrell Williams card is really insane looking. I would really love to try this card out. So I think it's a decent promo team. I don't know if it's better than Team 1. I feel like it's in some ways worse, in some ways better. But again, just to mention Team 1 here, if you guys invested in some of these cards, a lot of them have gone back up. Caicedo, huge rise yesterday. Daniel Malen, he's up as well. Baku is up. Even some of the fodder cards are up. Sell into the hype. If somebody that you invested in, if you don't want to risk it, has a game today, make sure, this is what we talk about all the time with these cards, is sell into the hype. I would say Kavicha is a perfect example of that today because PSG, I do believe, play today on Saturday. Yeah, they play Lille. That will be the perfect example of a card who's trending positively towards an upgrade, but if they somehow lose or they draw today, this is a card that's going to tank because there's so much hype riding on these upgrades. Your best bet, especially with big promos, maybe like Foot Birthday around the corner, I would probably say sell it in the hype on the more expensive cards. The fodder cards that we talked about investing in, like Hussein, Petrovic, you're up a couple thousand coins on those. Those are the ones that you can hold. Even if they have some dips during the weekend, you can hold strong on those as long as they're progressing towards the overall upgrades through the next 3 or 4 games. You're going to be good. So that's kind of the Fantasy FC scenario there with those cards and those prices. Now, let's get to the big news, which kind of came, not kind of, 100% came as a shock and a surprise yesterday. I don't think anybody was expecting to talk about evolutions that you didn't even have to play games to complete. Let's talk about these brand new training camp evos, guys, because we got 2 of them yesterday, and it was a big surprise when EA first tweeted about it. There were no leaks about it, and that's actually kind of refreshing and nice. But basically, let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty here and describe these evos. Basically, it's evos as we know them. They get upgrades to either play styles, to stats, we haven't seen that yet, or roles, but you just don't have to play games. That's the whole new part of this functionality is you submit a player to the training camp evolutions, and they sit there in your My Evolutions, and they basically just kind of slow cook or marinate. We're kind of coming up with words on how to describe this, right? It's basically an evo that is time-based. I just completed my first step inside one of the 2 training camp evos that was dropped yesterday. I put Adeyemi into this because he's a card that I'm not actively using, and he's a card that would use the inside forward plus at the left wing. So I was like, yeah, he's perfect for this. Let me put him in. He's going to end up in 10 hours from now. This evolution will be ready to claim, and I will just claim him, and he'll go straight into my club with the upgrade. Now, the biggest caveat with this new training camp evo situation is when you submit an eligible player into an evolution, that player item cannot be used. I think that is the biggest annoyance and the biggest L with this. Of course, with evos, as we're used to, you put a card into an evolution, you're playing with that card to upgrade it. The exact opposite for these, you put a card into a training camp evo, it's just going to sit there. You can't use it, and you're waiting for the timer to go away. But this, I know that's not a positive thing to not be able to use the card while it's in its evolution state, but at the same time, I think for most of these evos, these are meant to be evos for cards that aren't in your main team or even getting upgraded into a team that you're going to use. It's meant to be something that's like, let me just get small upgrades and chip away at this card and make it a better card that could maybe fit into a real evo. Now we have like training camp evos and real evos that we have to talk about, which is kind of funny, but that's kind of something to look at now with actually having another evo slot. We have 2 active evos for regular evos. We have a 3rd slot now, so that's another W way that you could look at it. So there's a lot of small quirks with this if you think about it, with these cards that you're not going to be able to use. You can cancel them if you're like only wanting to do 1 or 2 levels and it's a 3-part situation. You could cancel it, get the card back, be able to use it, and only get partially upgraded cards, which will come into some evo chains, I'm sure. But it is really easy to evo them. Now, I think the other most annoying part about this is you can only evolve them from the companion app or the web app. And of course, I haven't picked this on goal training camp evolution yet because I can only have 1 training camp evo going at a time. So right now I just put Adeyemi into this one. I have to wait until the timer expires. I'll get his card, claim it, and then I'll be able to put a player into this training camp on goal evolution, which gives power shot, chip shot, and advanced forward plus. So actually Cruyff fits in this. I think I'm going to put it on a Kulusevski evo that I have in my club. I don't mind it. It means max 88 requirement. Pretty decent requirements, you can put players that might be near your main team into this. That's just something you have to consider with these cards not being able to be used. This one's paid as well, but it's 7,000 coins, so it's very, very small. But yeah, it just, I think overall that this is a W, guys, because how can it not be? You don't even have to play games to upgrade these cards. You just put them in the evolution, you wait a little bit, and they come out evolved. You do nothing and the card gets upgraded. I think that's really sweet. Maybe you're away on vacation or you're on a holiday. You can still do evolutions. You can still figure out how you can get some cards to progress. I think this will really come in handy with bronzes and with silvers. I know we're talking about max 88 cards in here, but think about a bronze or a silver player that you want to evolve. They don't have very many playstyles. You could have put them in this right away and started a nice Evo chain with Chip Shot and with Power Shot and with Advanced Forward Plus, right? That's a great start to a bronze card who probably doesn't have a Roll Plus or a silver card or even a gold card, or just bolstering a card you already have in your team with some playstyles and with a Roll Plus. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more Evos down the line. Some of the examples that they showed on the website included some stat boosts. So this is looking up, I think. I don't think this is the craziest thing ever. Like some people were talking about on Twitter, X yesterday, how this is like, wow, this is insane. This is incredible. I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool. I think there's some annoying parts to it, but I think it's just cool. It's like, all right, cool, EA. Nice way to think outside of the box with evolutions and do something different. But I think there's a real reason why EA added this, guys. As I've read through the website and, even wanted to go and do this Evo right here, there's one thing that it boils down to for me, even right there at the bottom. Get training camp evolutions on the EA Sports FC companion app. It feels like to me that EA, the real reason they released these training camp evos is to push people to the companion app and to the web app. And I'll be honest, as a user of the companion app pretty often for trading purposes on the phone, I use the app a lot, but they must want us to be on the app more, or they feel like people are not using the app a lot, or maybe people don't know about the app. Let me know in the comments, do you guys use the web app? Do you guys use the companion app? If you don't trade a lot, you probably don't. Maybe it's useful to check your squad, do an SBC or two on the go. I think it's a very useful aspect of this game, having the companion app, having your ultimate team for some of those functions ready to go. Because basically you can do everything except for play a game on the companion app and the web app, which is super cool. But I guess EA doesn't feel like enough people are doing that or whatever, that they feel like they have to push people to the web app and the companion app. But it is actually a little annoying in game when you're looking to check the content every single day. You're like, oh, what came out today? And you go to Evolutions and you see training camp. This happened yesterday. You're like, wait, I have to go to the web app or the companion app to actually get involved with this stuff. I can't just do it from my console. So that's a little bit annoying, but overall, I think this is a W, and we'll have to see what kind of Evos EA release as we go throughout. Of course, there's two of those training camp Evos right now, one that gives Inside Forward Plus for a left wing, and one that gives the Advanced Forward Chip Shot and Power Shot for I think it's a striker right there. And then we did have a real Evo yesterday too. I don't want to glide over this. We did have the Bench Boost evolution that was dropped yesterday for non-position specific cards, but it's a max 87, and you can see here the pace, shooting, dribbling, defending, and physical requirements are pretty high, but the actual boost that you get out of this, I don't think they're that crazy. I think this is a decent evolution. It's solid. I don't think it's unreal, though, in my opinion, but it's a decent one. Again, it's called Bench Boost, so it's probably not boosting somebody. It says it's a double game week, so time for your bench to step up. I mean, I don't know if this is going to make anybody go from my bench into the starting 11 as an 87 rated squad, but hey, we love Evos. And this is one that you can put on a player and get them juiced up a bit. I like that it does only boost the card to 90 rated. I like that. That's actually a tremendous W in my opinion, because that means it could be evolvable sooner rather than later. Like this Wan-Bissaka card might be the craziest card in the Evo. The inform it's in packs right now. He goes to a 92 pace, 90 defending, right back. Lacking some playstyles for sure, but there's some other decent chains as a part of this that you can figure out. So decent Evo content yesterday, but of course the biggest thing overall was the new training camp Evos, and we're just going to have to see how it unfolds as we experience more of those. Let me know in the comments what you feel about those Evos. Again, I think it's cool. I like the versatility of it, but also it feels kind of limited in its own right. But just the best part of it, again, for me is you don't have to do anything and the car gets upgraded. That's the big pull. Let's talk about the market really quick, of course, because we had the Friday night bubble in peak action. I picked up a Jamie Vardy for $798 on an undercut, sold him for 880,000 coins. But the market overall, prices have done very, very well as of yesterday into today on Saturday. That McAllister was 1.3 mil. He's almost 1.5. This Bruno Fernandes is up a good bit too. If you take a look at a lot of the grassroots grades cards, even some of the other recent promo teams like some future stars and some of those cards, a lot of them are up in value. And that makes sense, right? Because weekend league demand is out there, not just the League Cup that is out for MyCon that people are playing, but weekend league demand is out there as well. It's always a decent time to be selling cards on like late Friday nights and even early on Saturday mornings into the daytime on Saturdays when there's a lot more market demand there. So that part of the market is good, but other parts of the market, not doing so hot. SBC fodder with the Kylian Mbappe Player of the Month expiring, a lot less demand for some of the higher rated cards. You can see, of course, on Thursday we talked about buying here, but make sure, of course, we were talking about this too, selling before the content drop. You can even see these cards kind of spiked right before content as people are probably buying the last cards they needed to complete that Mbappe before he expired. And with content coming out and less demand for high rateds, they really dropped off. Now, that makes me just a little bit worried for some of those fodder fantasy FC investments. We'll have to see what comes out today on Saturday. I don't think we're going to have more SBCs that are going to require a lot of 89 rateds, at least for right now. So I think that could keep the 89 and above rated fodder in check for the moment, but we will just have to see. I'm personally not investing in this right now. Tomorrow on Sunday, we maybe could have a bit more movement there depending on what sort of icon pick or pack comes out. Let's talk about content today on Saturday. Firstly, by mentioning something that you maybe didn't remember. I didn't until we were talking about it on stream a little bit. Guys, there's actually pro events today. The E-Premier League is going to actually bring some hype on Twitter, on Twitch. If you're watching the games there, I believe they'll be streamed live, but that's going to be a trading opportunity for some of the most meta Premier League cards. I actually picked up this Lenny Yoro because I was scrolling on Twitter at some of the FC Pro accounts, and a couple of the teams that I saw for the pros that were playing today, they're using some of the same similar players. You got Lenny Yoro, McAllister, Bruno Fernandes, Daniel Malen. Those are some players that, as I scroll through a few of these squads, I see in a lot of teams. There's another Malen right there. There's another Bruno Fernandes. Kerkez is one as well. I think they have to use a certain number of Premier League players, not entirely Prem. You see some icons in there too, but it's actually it is mostly Prem and a couple of icons. Another Lenny Yoro, center back Holland. So just keep an eye on those cards today, of course, as there's going to be pros playing with these cards. They're going to get talked about. They'll be on the broadcast, just like with other pro events. Sometimes that makes cards actually go up a lot in price. They get hyped up. So I bought a Lenny Yoro for that. He was like 660, 670 last night. Hopefully he goes up into the high 600s today. That is a card actually that a lot of people have been packing from the 90 plus times 4 pack. Something to mention there too, but those are untradeable. And if a card gets hyped up on a broadcast that pros are using, people are going to go buy the card and want to use it. That's why those cards move. Just be prepared to trade with that. But other content coming today. One of the cards we mentioned in yesterday's video, an icon is expected to drop today. That is the Ashley Cole SBC. Of course, this is the description, right? Scored his first Chelsea goal on the 1st of March. And that would basically mean on this day, icon would be released on this day, March 1st. Welcome to March. This Ashley Cole card looks decent. Again, it comes down to the price for me. If this is just a few 100,000 coins, I know we have the Digne that is out right now, the Ferland Mendy that's about to expire. It is a decent card. What I would say is watch out for left backs. I'd be a little bit worried of maybe some of the middle to low tier left back cards, maybe even a guy like that Kerkez, who you could say that he's better than this Cole card, but just keep an eye out for maybe some of those middle to low tier cards, especially as an icon. Ashley Cole has a lot of hype. There will be people completing this SBC for sure today, and other left backs will probably take a bit of a hit. So that's one thing I did want to mention. I don't think that one's going to be too crazy. We do have some other SBCs that are leaked, namely Flashback Rolfa. So I don't know if she's going to be today, but that's literally a flashback to her fantasy card from last year, which is pretty dope. And then a lot of other lower to middle tier cards. Again, a lot of fodder in terms of this week, which makes me interested in investing in some of these fantasy cards. But apart from some quick flips that I'm really going to be doing into today, I'm not investing long-term necessarily in these cards. Just quick flips only. Bought a couple of Darwin Nunez, saw the Baraldos from the stream, and then a couple of Mathis Tell that I've been flipping and trading with as well. I do think people are going to wake up today on Saturday and want to try out those cards, so I'm trying to take advantage of that and make some profits. Last thing to watch out for today on Saturday is, of course, going to be more evolutions. Real Evos probably, because we always get Evos on the weekend, and there is an Evo, the complete winger that is expiring today. I should actually take some time to look and see who fits. Wait, actually, Fermin. Not that I really want to upgrade him because, again, stat caps on live cards, you got to be very careful with those. But that was actually my best pack pull from yesterday, and I was kind of surprised to get him. He looks like a really, really good card with very interesting stats for that rating that he is, and of course being live. I'm gonna have to choose a card to put in this evolution here, but there probably is going to be a new Evo that comes today because on the weekends, like I mentioned, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, we almost always have an Evo each of those 3 days, like a real Evo. And then, of course, we'll be watching the training camp evolutions as well and checking the companion app to see what they drop there, if there's anything cool in there. They said, again, that in those training camp evolutions, down here in the frequently asked questions, they said it was like, how long do these take? Some of them as short as a few hours, others longer than 30 days. That upgrade, if I'm going to wait 30 days for a boost, better be massive. So those are kind of all my thoughts kind of around this whole new training camp evolution situation and what happened yesterday with Fantasy FC Team number 2. Let me know in the comments what you feel about that, how you're feeling about the game at the moment. You know, I asked in yesterday's video for EA to spice things up. I guess you could say that those whole new Evo situations is a little bit of a spice up. I don't know. SBCs yesterday were kind of spicy as well, but maybe today we spice something up a little bit more, EA. We'll just have to see. Best of luck if you're trading today. Best of luck with your cup games, your weekend league games. It's a big gameplay weekend for sure, and that means the market's going to be moving. Best of luck with your investments as well with Fantasy FC cards out there. But that's going to be the video for me today, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Again, good luck on your games, and I will see you here tomorrow for another video to catch up on what happens and what's going to be happening tomorrow on Sunday in FC 25. If you enjoyed this video, drop a thumbs up on it, comment if you have any questions, and of course, subscribe if you're new. See you guys in the video tomorrow. Have a great weekend. It's been TheFutAccountant. Peace out.